Live. Okay, thanks for joining us. You are witnessing technology at its best and or worst. We are going live from both of our pages. So if anything looks crazy, like I'm looking at you and then I'm looking at someone else, just go with it. But welcome.
Yes, it's so awesome to have Sabrina, that we can discuss wonderful innovations in the field of mind power and
Yes.
what we could do to release limiting beliefs, unleash the potential. We're going to discuss a few things that we discuss in our coaching sessions. It seems that everybody has different questions, but in the end, the core issues are very similar. So I think if we can address that, that will be helpful.
Yeah, I think what'll be really fun too is, even though, like Stas was saying, it's very similar, we approach it from different ways. And so our goal today, our intention today, is to give you practical tools, and we'll actually go through these processes with each other. So we'll be each other's clients, so you guys could see how it works in, say, a live session with us. And the theme today is press reset. We have the fall equinox coming. It's a changing of seasons. And with that, it's a reminder to, I feel like, all of us, that everything is evolving, everything is changing. Change is the only reality that we live in, and we can either consciously do it or we can just go with the flow. Neither is right or wrong, but setting conscious intention allows us to, I think, set the direction of the change that we want to happen in our lives. So before we start, would you mind just giving a quick background for my audience about who you are? Yeah, by the way, we've got a gardener who wanted to attend live. So
he waited for 10:30.
He waited because he knew this is the time. So allow that sound to remind you that we live in a beautiful place where people are here to help us take care of our trees and our plants, because that's one way to view it. That's one little framework that we can put that in.
Yeah, and actually this morning I was reading this text, and it said that everything is perfect as it is.
Yes.
Don't try to focus on the things that are going wrong. Everything is just happening for a reason. The challenges that you have in your life are given to you so you can overcome them and become stronger. So a lot of us focus on, oh my God, why is all of this happening to me? And it's just, life is so difficult, and it's one thing after another. It's very easy to be trapped in a mindset of being a victim, of life happening to you and all these things that you have to deal with. And I experienced that a lot as well, myself. So I have to remind myself all the time, like, listen, it's not that like life is hard and all this stuff is happening to me. It's okay. It's a challenge that I can overcome. But the best way to overcome it is to actually see it as something positive, like you will come out stronger from it. We're given challenges that we have enough power to overcome them, but it's important how you overcome them. Do you overcome them in a mindset of being a victim, or do you overcome them in a mindset of, oh, that's great, I've learned something about myself, I've developed a new character trait, a new skill, or maybe it was so stressful, but I actually did not go deep into stress, and I was quite all right. I was able to observe it from the side and watch myself, how I'm reacting. So all of these things, they're small things, but they really can make a difference in terms of how you come out from a situation.
Absolutely. And I think, to even piggyback on that, as you were saying, that about being mindset, and also I think about focusing your mind on, where do you have control? So for example, the gardener, we don't control that schedule. We don't control the rain. We don't control even a lot of things that are going on in our lives that are based on free will and what other people are choosing to do in their lives. But it comes down to where our control is, which is our choice to have this perspective that, for me, I try to shift it from everything happens for a reason to everything happens and we create reason. And another way to see it is just to say, I love to say, it all serves. Because if you say it all serves, well, then your mind immediately goes into curiosity mode. Okay, well, if it all serves, how can this serve me? How can this be helpful for me? And if it's not, how do I focus my energy, my attention, my awareness on what is helpful? It's something that I can change or shift or whatever, accept, allow, let in. So
and it's not always so clear. That, oh, this is what I've learned from this situation. Maybe what you learned from the situation is that you didn't panic, or you didn't stress as much as you could have. Maybe you didn't have a nervous breakdown about that. That's already something that you've gained from it. So it's not that you know, you were going through a breakup, and then you're like, okay, well, there must be something very powerful in the end, you know, like something that I'll gain.
Right.
No, maybe perhaps the process of going through the breakup and understanding how you're dealing with those emotions. Are you distracting yourself from the pain, or are you going into it and feeling it fully and letting it go? You know, because so many of us distract ourselves or numb ourselves from the pain that we experience because it's too much to handle, or it seems that it's too much to handle, or we just don't want to be in that state where we feel pain. But it's best that you address it now than save it for later, and then like 2 years later down the line you realize, oh, I never really got over this. It's kind of still here, this grudge and this resentment. It just stayed in here, and the longer it stays, eventually it transforms into a disease.
Yes.
So it's best to just feel it and let it go. And even this morning I read, you know, as if you're holding something in your fist and then you open it and you just let it go. It's the same way with your heart. You're holding something in your heart like a grudge or resentment. Just open it like a fist and let it go.
I love that. And I think that reminds me a lot of the work that I do. So I'm a soul alignment coach and hypnotherapist. And for me, that's all about helping my clients align their souls with their highest intentions. And oftentimes we feel off, and it's usually because we are doing what we think we should be doing, what society feels like we should be doing. But part of that process, especially in hypnosis, why I find it such a powerful tool, is it's speaking to the unconscious mind, that 90% that is the manpower or woman power, if you will, behind all of your actions. And so even that example you just gave was an example of how you can very practically speak to your unconscious mind. Because the conscious mind is all about linear thought, right? And it's all like, if X, then Y, and you know, it's making these logical connections, which is amazing. You know, we need our conscious minds. But the unconscious mind speaks in metaphor and imagery. And as soon as you said that, it was beautiful because I saw it the minute you said, make a fist. And so it also, when you do that with your physical body, you're actually anchoring it. You're actually sending a message to your unconscious saying, hey, this is important, pay attention. So let's start our first activity. That if there is anything that you are holding on to right now, so give yourself a moment and just tune into something that you are literally holding on to. And put it in your fist, right or left. Let your intuition decide, because that allows you to trust yourself. And so holding on to this and just squeeze it. Hold it so tightly. And you know what that feels like inside your body when you're holding on to something. Whether, like Stas says, it was a grudge, an anxiety, something that happened that you just can't seem to get over, or you couldn't seem to get over. And I want you to imagine that energy in your heart is doing the same thing. Like that fist that you're holding is in your heart. Now let's take the breath, breathe into it. And now with conscious intention, because you have free will, it's your choice, I want you to choose to let it go and open your hand. Feel the energetic release. Now tune back into that space in your heart. And just notice just that simple act. Do you feel a little more open? And as you're ready, come back. And join us again.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, that was me just riffing off an exercise that you shared and taking it to the trance state. And as you saw, trance states are easier to get into than we realize. It's all about speaking directly to your unconscious mind. Use that metaphor, use that imagery, and then just go inward, play with it, and then come back, and all of a sudden it integrates. So speaking of integrating, you mentioned something, and I know we didn't do a proper introduction, but the bits and pieces will come out. So share a little bit about your background, because you said this about the whole, you're pushing it down. I loved it because you actually like touched, your belly. You're like, and then all of a sudden 2 years later, you're like, I'm sick. What's going on? Why am I sick? And you dig into it. So tell me about your background with this connection with like mind body and the actual effect of emotions on your physical well-being.
Well, for me, it's been about a 2-year journey. I was more in the business world and suppressing a lot of things, not really aligning with my purpose, until eventually it accumulated so much that I had a nervous breakdown and started feeling a lot of depression and anxiety. And I just took off traveling to Southeast Asia for 6 months, studying with different healers, learning. Craniosacral therapy was something that I really got connected to, and I studied with a teacher in Nepal, and he taught me so much about the suppressed emotions and all the physical and emotional trauma and where it is in the body. And now I pursued that path, and I practice it, and I work with people performing craniosacral therapy and a couple other modalities as well. And even recently I went to a retreat, and it was a multi-hands healing retreat. So there's three people working on me.
Oh my God.
And then we changed it up. It was for practitioners. Yeah. But when 3 people were working on me, it was earlier this year, something burst in me, and it was such a powerful feeling, because it was not something I could control. Something just kind of like exploded, this energy cyst, and I started shaking and crying like a lot. So it was such a powerful release, and I realized it's because some of the things I was going through, I didn't really give myself space to feel them and to overcome them. I just suppressed them a lot, and they were there, and like I always felt like something heavy, and sometimes they would, surface, and I would just brush them off or numb them until finally I addressed it and came out in a very powerful way. But that's 3 practitioners working on me.
That was a very intensive immersion. So, well, tell me then, I mean, if we've got people out here watching who don't have 3 practitioners working on them at once, what are some other simple ways that you gained both from that experience and just your journey along the way, that if, like you said, they're feeling like, maybe I'm not processing everything, like, hey, I'm okay. We do that a lot, right? Yeah. I'm okay with things. Then what's something that you have found is helpful for yourself and for your clients?
Absolutely. So it always starts with simple things, because not all of us can attend a week-long retreat, and it's about doing work on a daily basis, or at least as often as you can.
I feel like they're inside.
Cutting grass inside of the apartment.
By the way, I do want to say quickly as well, I believe laughter is enlightenment, because when you are able to bring light to something that could be just ridiculous, like universe has got a sense of humor. I firmly believe this. So you gotta laugh. And
that's one of the emotional releases. Yeah. It's like you release your laughter, and this is not a beer, it's a cold brew.
I know, I saw that when he brought it in, and I was like,
party time.
Yeah, let's loosen up. Let's make this happen.
So a couple things to release. Okay. One, I actually do it myself quite a lot, is if I'm angry at something, at the situation, I just take a journal and I just start.
We have one tech issue, but
one more to go.
We're back. So here we are again. Now we're on one Facebook page, right here with you.
Everybody hop into the Sabrinas.
Everyone. If you're still watching this, you can still see it. Come and join us. So
powerful trick is you take a journal and you start writing out what is it that you're angry at. Maybe it's the situation, you describe it, you go into that pain, you express those emotions, like I was really angry at this person, here's why. Just write 2, 3, 4 pages, as long as it takes, and then you kind of take them in your hand, and you can do a few things. You can either start slowly reaping them in small pieces with an intention of like, okay, I'm letting it go, like it's done, like I'm reaping it. So it's like you're saying, tap into that subconscious mind. Subconscious mind needs something symbolic, like a ritual, because that's how it understands. Exactly. Yeah. So you either rip it up or you burn it. Last time I burned my papers, and it was so cool because with that fire, I could see the words burning and turning into themselves. Exactly, turning into ashes. And for me, it was like, okay, it's out of me. And also believe in this process. Don't just like look at it like, oh, this is silly. Stas and Sabrina just told me, so I'm doing it. Yes. But it's not like, if you are really trying to heal yourself, you are your own healer. Nobody can heal you if you don't want to be healed. Right. So participate in the process. Put yourself fully into it, and burn that paper, rip it up. And if something is still left, maybe like in the next couple of days, do it again, just to like let go of that. And that in itself, that could be even more powerful than seeing a therapist once a week, because it's just you and you're so intentional with it, and you're committed to letting it go. So that's definitely a powerful one. Another one in a different realm of things is, sometimes we have this emotions accumulated and we feel like we're just going to explode. Then it's okay to explode. Do it in a safe environment. So maybe take a pillow, take a bashing bat, and just just scream into pillow, bash it out a little bit. Like, let those emotions out, because very few of us have this outlet. Not everybody can go and take a boxing class, or yes, yoga is very powerful, but it's not necessarily like, sometimes you just want to go crazy. And it's okay to do that. In a safe environment.
Exactly. And I think that everything that you're sharing, it points to a very, I think, just simple idea of, if you're trying to think of anything to do to release energy, think of it as that. Think of it as every thought, every emotion is energy. That's just science. So, every thought, emotion is energy. And like you were saying earlier, the more that you just take this energy and there's a limited space and go here in this physical body, right? So if you are not actively moving the energy out, whether that energy comes out as the emotion of rage, anger, sadness, we live in a society where there are certain emotions that are viewed as good and certain ones that are bad. So be happy, be peaceful, be loving. And that is ultimately our state, but we also live in a world of duality where things need to affect us. There's a whole spectrum of emotions. So if you're not safely processing these, whether that is in a journal, because it's moving energy. So why a journal works is because energy in the mind, it was intangible, becomes tangible, paper. Now you tear it, it's tangible, it's something it's real, it's physical form, and then by releasing it, energy's been moved. The same with energy in your body, pushed down, comes up and out in that punch of the pillow. Or I've been getting into breath work lately, and have you experienced
I'm doing a breathwork teacher training this weekend.
Are you? Okay, so there we go. Yeah, so breathwork being so powerful. If you haven't experienced it, there are so many places where you can do this. But just this process of somatic release in a very deep, energetic way, and just giving yourself, like Stas was saying earlier, this is not a one-time deal. It's not like, oh, I'm healed. Whew, now I can just go back and keep doing what I was doing. This is an ongoing practice of supporting yourself in all the ways that you need to move your energy. And that's why this press reset idea is that in every single moment, you have a choice. Like you were saying, this is not about us doing something for you. This is about you saying, okay, wait, I don't control all of this. I control what's in here. No one else controls what's in here but me. I own what's in here. And knowing that, oh man, I'm the one who's making myself miserable. Be compassionate, be gentle with yourself, because it's on an unconscious level. But once you bring that to consciousness, once you see it, then you have the choice to choose differently and to reset. I wanted to share one tool with you.
Let's do it.
And it's very simple, and with you guys as well. So basically, this comes from the world of again, hypnosis, and it's called bilateral stimulation. And my teacher Melissa Tiers shares this beautifully, so I will try to do her justice. But what happens when you have anxiety? It's energy that is stuck in a loop, and it is firing up a certain area of your brain. And so when neurons fire together, they wire together. So you've got what's called like a cluster of neurons. And the more that you have these anxious thoughts that are not coming out of you, the bigger the cluster gets. And so now all of a sudden you've got this place in your brain that's just this like big chunk of neural activity where all this energy is going. And that's why when you start getting anxious thoughts, it's so hard to break out of the loop. It's not just quote unquote your fault. It's not always a conscious choice. It's your brain trying to be efficient because it has seen a pattern and it's repeating a pattern. This is a very simple way that in the moment you can actually start to diffuse the energy that's going into that anxiety. So I'm going to ask you to think of something that brings you anxiety, and I promise we're not going to stay with it for long. But think of something, and if you'd like to close your eyes after we begin, you can. But for now, I want you to actually see what my hands are doing. And so I've got my hands out here, kind of a 90-degree angle. Yeah, you're just holding them out loosely, relaxed, but you want them out from your body. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be crossing the midline of your body, and it's just going back and forth. Yep, exactly. So we're both doing it. So now go ahead and think that thought that was bringing you anxiety. If you want to rate it from 0 to 10, you can. 0 being, doesn't bother me. 10 being, oh my God, I hate this. I've got my thing. You got your thing? Cool.
Yeah, my thing just stopped though.
And so I think we just showed how this works. Try to keep thinking of it.
Yeah.
Actively try to do it. You will probably notice that it's not easy to do. You might notice that you feel a little bit better. And you just can't quite hang on to that anxious thought. It's almost like a ping pong ball. Every time you try to capture it, it just pops right out again. And then let's take a breath. And try to think of that thought again. And notice if it's shifted. Maybe it's still there, but a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you feel a little trancy.
Yeah.
So as you saw what I just did, you could do this anywhere. Grocery line, your car, safely, stoplight, obviously, keep your hands on the wheel, practice discernment. But, you're in gridlock traffic. We live in LA, so in your car is a great time to do anything with your hands. But really that, and if you even have an object, I mean, how often are we without our phone, our devices, but you just look like you're just kind of hanging out. So It's something that is very subtle, but very powerful, as you noticed, right?
Yeah.
You just can't see, and the way and reason it works is because, like I was saying, there was a cluster of neurons firing together. But when you cross the midline of your body, right hand forcing a spark over here, left hemisphere, left hand forcing a spark over here in the right hemisphere, it's sending electrical impulses back and forth. It can't hold the cluster together because it's just, oh wait, blood flow over here. Oh wait, electricity over here. So as much as your limiting mind wants to hold on to, that story, that thought, that anxiety that you had, you just can't quite do it. So
I like it. And it's also, there's few moving parts. First of all, you're focusing on the actual movement to make sure it's going.
Yeah, you're in your body.
You're in your body, you're connected, you have your eyes closed. That's another powerful one.
Or you can do it with your eyes open, but yes, it helps. I mean, why not?
Yeah, like if you're like in the room and you're able to close your eyes, and you're breathing as well. So all of those already, like also something changes in your body as well.
Yeah.
Like even without understanding the full science, like it works.
Yeah, exactly. I just always like to give the science because even those of us who are the more spiritually minded or even more feeling into how we operate in the world, we all have both masculine, feminine, left and right brain going on at any given time. And sometimes all it takes is that one limiting conscious, belief that says, oh, but really? And I love to say, well, you know what, conscious mind, I got something for you to chew on. And it's almost like you're distracting, like, a puppy that keeps bugging you. You just kind of throw the ball as far as you can. Yeah. The conscious mind is like, ooh, science. And then you're like, cool, let's do some work. He's out of the picture. We can actually get some work done now, right? So, yeah, well, that's been our half hour. I mean, that flew by.
Yeah. So we're just warming up.
yeah, we're just going to go. So, I would love to do this again, but I hope that anyone, whether you were here with us live or rewatching this after, know that now is the perfect time for you to receive what you need to receive and to press reset. And I want to make sure everyone knows, because I think we've all shifted back to my page with all the fun tech stuff that goes on, how people can find you, what you've got going on, and how people can find me. We'll just wrap up with that in case people want to take it deeper.
Perfect. I'm Stas Arsenov on Facebook. You can find my page, Think Clever Now. I also have a Think Clever podcast, which launched 3 or 4 weeks ago now. We have amazing interviews there. And thinkclever.co is my website. And Think Clever is my Instagram. What else?
Awesome. I mean, so that's pretty straightforward. Think Clever, and I love that combination of things. So I am Sabrina Bolin, and if you're on my page, you probably know that by now, but I am a soul alignment coach and hypnotherapist. And if you're watching this between now and Sunday, which is the fall equinox, I am actually running a special on my soul shift sessions. It's half of the price of my normal sessions. So it's going to be $88 for a 1 hour with me, and I combine hypnosis, energy work, Reiki, and we just bring it all together. And really my ultimate intention is to help you find that doorway so that you can start shifting your thoughts, behaviors, actions in your life to align more with what your higher self, your intuition is guiding you towards, and to really ultimately feel more aligned and more guided and more supported and just better, more flow in your life. So you can find out more about that here on my Facebook page, but I'm also Sabrina Bolin on Facebook. I'm the Sabrina Bolin on Instagram, and that's where you'll find me playing the most. And yeah, I think that's it for today, but thank you guys.
Stay tuned for more.
Stay tuned for more.
Like, so many more subjects that we prepared for today.
Yes, yeah.
So we'll expand a lot more next time.
Yeah, thank you so much for sending you love. Bye for now.
Bye.